Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee TV. This is Coach Powell, the founder, CEO, director, the leader of Coach Powell Training and Development. For more than 20 years, I've been helping entrepreneurs, business leaders of all types find their focus, maximize their productivity, and get their energy moving in the right levels so they can be super successful. I can't believe it. I was just running across some information that I pulled up, put together, because I'm consolidating my computers and trying to develop new systems for 2024. And I was looking back in the archives and I found this brilliant old video that talked about the VisionQuest 90 process that I created over 15 years ago. And what's funny about this video was it's an interview. My good buddy Dan Kalansky interviewed me as I was sitting down at my favorite Panera Bread, my local Panera Bread, as a matter of fact. And he asked me these questions about the VisionQuest 90 process. And it was crazy because it was an unscripted dialogue, an unscripted conversation. And we were just kicking it. We're just chilling and answering the questions. But it ended up being one of the best explanations that I've ever shared about the VisionQuest 90 process. And I thought for today, as we round out and end our series on planning for 2024. For those of you who've been watching, we started back in December and probably even early November, as a matter of fact, talking about what it's going to take to move your plans for 2024 forward. And as you know, every year I update the VisionQuest 90 process. And I was in the process of updating when I bumped into this film. And for those of you who are interested, I definitely will share it with you. You can check me out on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, and you'll be able to see that short video that explains the whole VisionQuest 90 process. But I'm going to try to do some justice today because I've updated the process. And in today's program, I'm going to share with you some bonus material that has never been shared before. So for those of you who are listening, for those of you who are paying attention and watching on the World Wide Web, whether you're watching this on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, already in the chat, I've already posted some bonus materials that you can pick up. By the way, this update is super special because it's the first time I'm taking advantage of everything that AI has to deliver. I took my content and I began to do a deep dive using chatbot, using my Bing chat AI connection, which helped me really to elevate this content to an extremely high level. Basically, you can take the concepts and strategies that I share with you. Not only could you read them and understand them, right, but you can go back and check out all the research and all the links. I had to go through. There's literally over 60 documents and articles that are high quality, business reviewed documents and organizations that feed into some of the information that I make readily accessible for free at your fingertips. All you got to do is go there and download it. Go to your chat box, download the information. In fact, if I can, I'm going to go ahead and put the link right there. Now, you can't follow a link from the video. You literally have to go to the chat and hit the connections in the chat, and you should be able to download it. You should be able to see the new planning guide. If you open up the document that I shared with you, the free bonus information I shared with you, you're going to find links to, again, thousands of other things that I've created and collected over the years to bolster my research in every category of the VisionQuest 90 process. So that stuff is right there at your fingertips, ready available. I'm not going to read it to you. I'm not going to bore you with it. On the second page of our bonus materials, you're going to find access to a questionnaire that I created. And this is the super sticky stuff. This is the executable stuff that you're going to want to use anytime you go into a planning process, right? You're going to want to look at your plans and execute them based on a couple of criteria, which we're going to explore today. In fact, I'm going to bring our VisionQuest board to the stage, and let me see if I can't get rid of some of this background noise so that you guys can see more what we're talking about. There we go. And I will take the comment down. Boom. There we go. This is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to give you a brief overview of what the VisionQuest 90 process is all about. This is stuff that people pay me a lot of money to share with them, but I'm sharing it with you for free, as much of it as I can. And I want you to know I'm not leaving anything out. The only thing that you can't have for free is me. When you have my time and my energy and my effort, that's going to cost you a little something. Not much, but you don't need me if you use this process. This process is built for speed, built for quality, built for connections, for leaders of all types, big and large, personal leadership, personal development, anything you want to use this for. I promise you it's going to enrich your life. And it's going to make the promises that are made here are going to be really, really easy for you to wrap your arms around. But you have to be vigorous in your attempt and disciplined in your approach about how you're going to do this thing. Okay, so let's look at the VisionQuest 90 process. First of all, let's talk about my philosophy of planning. Right here up front, what I share with you is that I understand and know that it takes a tremendous ongoing and increasing benefits can only be received by high performance teams and their leaders. It takes a lot, but you got to be the kind of individual, the kind of team, the kind of leader that can master the art and science of meaningful, relevant, and significant contribution. This is what it is. You ultimately have to contribute to our society, to our world, to your community, to your family, in every role that you play, in everything that you do. It's contribution that's going to create around you this feeling, this what I call MRS feeling, where you have meaning, relevance, and significance. It's what we all want. It's what we all move forward to. It's all what we all want to try to create for our lives and ourselves and our well-being. But it's often elusive, and there are so many complicated things that happen in our lives today, politically, economically, socially, legally, with technology, and with the ecosystem. All of what we call the PESO discussions or the macro ideas and concepts that we can't control, but all have an impact on our lives. And the stronger those macro forces become, the deeper the impact. And the longer we stay out of focus, off balance, out of kilter, and away from our intentions, our goals, the design for our lives, the programs that we need to be dealing with, the purpose and the meaning of ourselves as human beings becomes more and more elusive the more we allow those macro forces to infiltrate our mind. Planning is the strategy that you need to do in order to create some control to the best of your ability over the uncontrollable. Now, I know I'm saying that and it sounds crazy, but it is not necessarily your ability to control the uncontrollable. It's your ability to be resilient in the face of the uncontrollable that makes the difference between long-time successful winners and quick, dominant, and destructive losers, right? And the question that you have to ask yourself is, where do you want to be? Because if you want to be in the winning camp, you're going to follow some of the processes that I've laid out over the last couple of weeks in specific and in great detail, and I'm going to give you the overview of that today. So let's break it out. Let's break into it. The VisionQuest 90 system was a system that I created, again, over 15 years ago. And the purpose of the system was to help professionals of all types develop more focus, more energy, and more productivity. That was the purpose. Now, I found out in all of my years of research with Zig Ziglar, with Stephen Covey, with Brian Tracy, with some of the great gurus and training development professionals who started this game early on, Nightingale and so many other professionals. I've opened up their books, I've taken their training, I've gone to see them personally. We've talked, Maxwell included, so many different trainers, developers, speakers. I've poured into what I now know is me. And my job now is to help you understand what I understand so that you can be better in the things that you need to be better at. And when you talk about your planning, I believe that planning is not complete, it's not whole, it's not balanced, it's not relevant until it considers all 5 of the concepts that are in front of your screen right now. The first concept is vision. And again, all these work together. No one is more important than any other one, but they're all important, right? The first concept is vision. Vision is your sense of destiny. It is your understanding with as much clarity as is possible with vision, which direction that you're going to be going in, where you're going to be pushing forward to. For what reason? You're going to answer questions in that vision box like, what do I want to be, have, and do when I've arrived at my destiny? And when I've arrived at the place I'm going to call my vision destination, right? Who do I want to be? What do I want to have? What do I want to be able to do? How do I want to function? What values do I hold so dear that I know I'm going to want to take with me the whole way? All of these ideas and concepts inform your vision. In fact, on the first page of the planning document that I shared with you, you're going to see on the first page a concept of vision and a concept of where you want to be and the concept of where you are. And if you notice, between where you want to be and where you are today, there's a gap. That gap needs to be filled with correct behavior, great principles, thoughts and ideas, and connections with people that are going to help carry you from where you are today to where you want to be. Your vision is not complete just by thinking of where you're going, right? Understanding with as much clarity as possible where you want to go, because where you're starting from and a good orientation into the right now of it all is critically important for you to assess where you are right now and then where you want to go, right? Now we have to develop some goalposts in between, right? We have to have some goals. So how do we know that you're on the track to move towards your vision or towards your destiny, whatever that is, right? You need some goals, because goals, literally your pace of achievement is understood and shared and open to others through how you go about accomplishing each and every one of your goals in the proper sequence, at the proper time, with the proper level of intensity and resources that you're going to need, and executing flawlessly or as flawlessly as possible, because I think there's no such thing as flawless execution. There's only understanding what good execution is all about and doing everything you can, your level best, to constantly increase your level of execution. But we'll get there in a second. When you start talking about goals, now you're talking about SMART goals. You're talking about goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. If your goals are not SMART goals, you're going to have to go back to work, right? Your goals have to be based on your strengths. They have to be based on, what you can do. Again, they have to be achievable, right? You have to understand that they're achievable. They have to be relevant, meaning they have to have some meaning, some purpose. They have to have a reason to exist, or you won't do it. The vision is not enough. You're going to need to have a little bit more stickiness to goal setting, right, than you may have traditionally thought about. Even if you're only goal setting for a year, right? Okay, I know by the end of 2024, I want to have boom, 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 done. Check. You want to have that done. However, there are sub goals that you're going to have to get in front of your major goals in order for your major goals to happen. There might be assemble the resources. There might be find the right people. There might be develop a new set of skills, a new set of tools, a new clear direction. Whatever you have to do to get those minor goals in, again, they all have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. When you're good and you're checking your goals against your vision, you're checking your goals against your partners or the connectors that you may have, and you're checking it against your mission, and you're making sure that you're embracing their current habits to have that pace of achievement we talked about earlier, then you're going to be golden. That's why, like I said, all these things are interconnected and none are more important than the others. Okay? When you get into understanding your habits, what we're talking about here is your skills of execution. How do you do the thing that you do? How do you do the thing that you do better than anybody else? How do you go about achieving the things that you need to achieve to stay on pace with your vision and your mission? How do you make sure that you have that connective tissue that allows you to have someone to be accountable for? Why are you doing it in the first place? Right? What are the reasons for you needing to change habits? Now, habits, we get into it in the habit section, but I want to remind you really quickly, habits are very, very difficult to change. I don't care how well you write down and articulate your strategy, your concepts, the things that you want to try to do. If you do not bring the right habits online with what it is you're trying to achieve, you're going to experience failure. Now, failure is not the worst thing in the world. I know it may sound like it because, who plans to fail? Nobody plans to fail. People plan to be successful. It's just that they don't have necessarily the right plans for them in the right moment, in the right time, in the right resources. A lot of things have to come together for a plan to be executable, and then for it actually to be executed by you and your teammates. You may need some more training. You may need some more skill building. You may need some more financial resources or physical resources or other types of connections and resources from people. All right. I always think of the T3 resources, time, talent, and treasure, when I think of the resources that you may need to execute anything. Do you have the right amount of time? Is it the right time? Should you be doing this right now? Does it meet your level of prioritization? Right? That's how you know that the habits that you consciously develop, because most of our habits are unconsciously. In fact, studies show that 40% of our productivity is reduced by our unconscious behavior, our habits that we're not even aware of. If you haven't read the book called Atomic Habits, I would suggest you do that. It's a brilliant book. It's a great form of concept that I think has been developed very, very well. I take a lot of quotes and a lot of information from that book, and I hope that you will take it and use it and do some great things with it. Okay, so we talked about vision, we talked about goals, gave an overview of habits. Again, go back in, read everything, listen to everything that we've talked about already, so you can get this right when you do your plans for 2024. Okay, your plans for 2024 cannot be complete if you don't have a great sense of mission. Mission. How do you know you have a good mission? When you can't stop doing it, right? When it's so good that you feel fulfilled as a human being, you feel connected to others, you feel like you have a higher purpose and a reason for doing things that resonates with the people that love you and the people that you love and the people that you should love, right? The connections that you don't currently have, but you will have. If you're doing things in the right way and approaching them in the right kinds of order, then you have a sense of mission, man, it's going to be so much easier for you to build resilience, overcome the hurdles, overcome the challenges that are going to come. They're going to come. You need that sense of mission to, again, connect you to purpose. So you have a reason for doing the things that you want to do. You have a reason for playing the way you are playing. If you find that you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing, whatever it is, on a regular, consistent basis, I got a feeling that you're not aligning yourself correctly with the vision, the goals, the habits, the connections, and even the mission that you need to be dealing with. And again, all of these things need to have a proper alignment and they need to have a flow through. That's why I put them all together. Right? Because if you can't see how one thing flows to the other thing, or the other thing justifies and rationalizes the other thing, then you're not really thinking about this holistically. The last and the most important part of the whole VisionQuest 90 process today is understanding the meaning, the value, the purpose of connection with others. You need partnerships. You need people around you, 360 degrees around you, people who are leading you and you follow, people who are following you and you lead, people who are associates and colleagues on either side of you. You need to have people around you who share your values, share your principles, but more importantly, even than those things, are sharing the notion of where you want to go. And somehow they want to kick in. They want to participate. They may want to participate simply as an investor, right? They may want to give you something, some tools, some resources, some financing, some whatever it is that you need. They may want to have, they lend you their treasure, right? They may want to and be inspired to share their talent with you. I mean, they want to work on your team, or they want to be in partnership with you, or they want to collaborate with you, or they want to somehow work alongside of you because they know that if you're working together, you're going to go much further, much faster, and you're going to be much stronger in the end. It may cause you, I mean, you may have to slow down a little bit because the bigger your team is, the more people you have to communicate with, the slower you move. But again, that's why we have technology. That's why we have the ability to build trust, because trust and will help us get more speed out of this thing. Whatever it is we need to do, if we can do it fast, then you got to start with high trust. If you don't start with high trust, you're not going to do it fast. You're going to do whatever you're doing, you're going to do it slow. Because there's fear, doubt, hesitation. Those things are going to get in the way of you moving fast and saying yes fast to whatever decision making you have to have, right? So it's important to develop the right kinds of connections, the right kinds of partners. Your network needs to be a robust network. My good friends at the round table and I talk about this all the time. You need 3 tiers in your network. There are people who are in your inner circle, right? These are your number one. These are the people that you go to for advice, for references, for connections, for other connections, for financing. You know, these are people that you can trust with your innermost secrets, and they can trust you with theirs. And there's a connection with you that is so strong that you want to make it as long as you possibly can with that person, right? These are people in the inner circle. Now, depending on your personality and your style, not your goals, but in your personality and your style, you're going to have certain people in your inner circle. I am an introvert. I know some of you all don't believe it, but because of that, I can't have a lot of people in my inner circle. I can't meet with people on a regular, consistent basis, responding to them and their needs, and have them responding to my needs. I don't even like sharing my needs, right, with a lot of people. But I do have to have someone on my inner circle. I have to have people. So I'm suggesting that if you're an introvert, you might want to think about having 5 to 6 people on your inner circle. Now, if you're an extrovert, you're going to have a hard time attending and working with and collaborating with and paying special attention to just 5 or 6 people. You're going to want more. And for that, I'm going to say 11 to 13 for your extroverts. Right? If you've done the research, you've done the studies, you don't just pronounce yourself an extrovert or an introvert. You do the personality tests. I suggest the Myers-Briggs. If you haven't done any of them, I suggest that one. That one has a more quality control involved with it. And I think you're going to like that a lot better than any of the others. But there are many personality tests out there, and it all help you understand how you function and how you may relate to other people in terms of how they function and how they may relate to you. This is not the zodiac, right? This is real scientific information about how you function, how your brain works, the kinds of behaviors that you may have locked into your DNA. We're going to get into that in just a second. Right? But the partners that you choose in your inner circle are super, super important. It doesn't mean because you're in someone's inner circle, you'll always be in their inner circle. You don't have to have somebody there for a lifetime. You don't. But you do have to commit to them, and you do have to have some level of honor and respect for them and the individual relationships that they create for you. The second circle, I call this the secondary circle, right? You talk about your circle, right? You got the inner circle and you have your secondary circle, right? As you talk about those are people who I know and I know well. They know me, and I know them. And we may have even done a transaction. A transaction may have benefited either them or benefited me. But there's not a whole lot of mutuality in our transactional relationship. Right? There's an I benefit you or you benefit me. There really isn't a partnership or collaborative thing going on. It's just that I benefit you, you benefit me. It doesn't have to go both ways. Right? Those people are on my secondary circle. That's how I do. You can do your secondary circle any way you want to do it, as long as it works for you. And then there's your tertiary circle. Your tertiary circle is just people who know you. And people that you know. You may not have ever done anything with them. You may not have ever had a transaction with them. You might have just been in the same space with them, or heard of them, or they heard of you, or saw their face in the yearbook and noticed that you went to the same class together. That's what's going on in my life right now. We're coming up with our 40th high school reunion. I'm like, oh my God. I'm connecting with people that I never connected to in high school, but I'm connected with them now. And we're finding out things about each other. We're finding ways to support each other. And they're becoming not just people on my tertiary circle, my third circle. They're coming in closer. Some of them might even be right for me to pick and choose and say, let me pull you into the inner circle where the real gifts are, right? The real opportunities are. My willingness to share my time, talent, and treasure is in my inner circle always. Right? Now, if you're in the secondary circle, you might get some of my time, talent, and treasure, but you're not going to get very much. Because I only have so much to spare, and I try to save that for my inner circle. Right? But I have all that stuff worked out. Your contacts, your partners, your collaborators, your friends, your associates, all need to be developed. If you don't have the right people in your network, then you have to recruit them in. You have to figure out how to ingratiate yourself with them. You have to figure out how to endear yourself to them. You have to figure out how to attract them into your network. We write and teach and train people to do that all the time, and it's not that difficult. A lot of times people think, well, I don't know, I don't have anything to offer. We all have something to offer. You may not be aware of what it is that you have to offer, but we all have something to offer. Go back to that vision page I talked to you about earlier and find out exactly where you are now. What are your strengths, weaknesses? What are the opportunities and threats? That's a SWOT analysis. Do it on yourself. right? What roles do you play? How good are you in each of the roles that you play? Do that analysis for yourself. What do you do on a really consistent basis? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you tick? What gets you up and get you motivated to move forward? I'll tell you what, training and teaching other people to be successful, that's what makes me move forward, right? That's what makes me get up and makes me keep ticking. So these are things that you can do, things that you can share, things that you can open yourself up to. All right. So it's super, super, super important. I see my girl Lori's logged on. Good to see you, Lori. Thank you so much for coming up, for showing up. Tell us, anybody about your business, any links that you want to put to what you're doing. Definitely put that in the chat box. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to represent whatever products or service. This is a business-friendly broadcast, and so if you're out there watching, you're out there listening, you're out there paying attention, don't think that you're not vital. You're vital to our existence. You're vital to everything that you're doing. And we want to give you a shout out. We want to pay attention to you. Lori and I are going to be doing some great work during Black History Month on February 1st through the 5th. If you get a chance to check us, either one of us, out on LinkedIn, do so. You're going to find out what we're up to and what we're doing. And hopefully you'll plug in and you'll engage. It's going to be an amazingly good time we're going to have. I already know it's about empowering Black women. And that's one of my favorite things to do. And so we're gonna really enjoy working together and accomplishing things. So I gave you a pretty much overall view of what the VisionQuest planning process was all about, what it entails, right? What I didn't tell you though is how it all works. This is a whole brain process. When I first developed this, I was thinking, I know some people who are super creative and they're going to be really good with everything that has to do with the creative side. I know some people who are super analytical and they're going to have to do everything from an analytical point of view in order for them to reach over into the creative side and vice versa. I know people who are so locked in to their fear, doubt, blame, shame. They're literally walking into what we call an amygdala hijack right now. And that's what their focus is. Their focus is not on thriving. Their focus is on surviving. They can barely get out of bed every day. The stress, the trauma, the overwhelming, pressure of our society today is just grinding on them. And they haven't developed the strategies and the techniques that need to happen in order to lead them out of that, right? Then I know some people who are so cerebral, their prefrontal cortex, their brain is at such a high level. They're already always looking at new information. They're always questioning why this, why that, why this, why that. They're always looking for answers to some of the deeper, more meaningful questions in life. Why are we here? Who am I? What does it all matter? What am I going to be doing next? How am I going to be fulfilled? What am I going to do to create happiness and joy and abundance around me? These are people who are thinking forward. These are people who are not just looking at the situation and going, oh, woe was me. This is happening to me. This is a sad moment. Now, these people who understand that they have something, they have an input to give, and they have something to share. So we're looking at your whole brain, your left brain, your right brain. We're looking at the prefrontal cortex. We're looking at your amygdala. We're looking at everything that you're doing to help you create the plans that are going to lead you forward. Now, I told you that everybody has an orientation, right? If you look at the VisionQuest 90 process, no matter where we are, what's going on in our lives, we all have an orientation. Some of us are very goal-oriented. We have to be accomplishing, achieving things that we recognize as meaningful, useful achievements, or we're just not happy. Some of us are very, very habit-oriented. Like, if you think about a habit that might come from being OCD, and I'm not saying that you're suggesting that yours OCD or anybody else's OCD, because I'm not a psychiatrist, nor am I a neurologist. I'm not even, anywhere clear or close to even saying anything about that stuff that's of any meaningful that you can take to the bank. But I will tell you, some of us are so locked into our habits, whatever the habits are, negative and positive, that we can't break into the new habits that we need to have, right? So some of us are habit driven. Some of us are so visual. We're so out there in the future in terms of how we think and how we're visionaries in that regard. But we might not necessarily be good at what it takes to achieve the vision. That's when you got to go back to your goals and your habits and your mission, right? You got to do that. So we're all like dreamers. They call those people dreamers, right? Those people who are just always fantasizing about a future that They don't have a clue and not even interested in how to get there. They're just more interested in thinking about it, in dreaming about it, and fantasizing over it, and even pulling in their faith traditions, and allowing them to guide them in a way that you can't prove any of this. you can't prove that you're ready. You can't prove that you're available. You can't prove that you're going to function in this regard. You just hope, right? It's dreams. No skill, no talent, no resources, just dreams. Sorry, you're a visionary, and that's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it is, right? So everybody has a different orientation, and then some of us are just people-oriented people. We love developing new relationships, we love developing partnerships, we love developing new friends, and that's the way we live, and that's our heart, and that's what makes us tick. Here's the problem: unless you give people a comprehensive and clear idea of what you're doing and what they can do to help you and what you would do for them, guess what? There's no action that's going to take place. There's no promises that's going to be made. There's no commitment that's going to be made. There's no type of execution or anything to measure that you're going to say, I can depend on you for. Because everybody's just, we're having a good time. It's just a party. There's nothing going on other than that. And life doesn't work that way. You have to be moving forward. If you're not moving forward, and I know you think you're doing something by continuing to do the thing that you are doing, but if you're not moving forward, if you're not changing, if you're not growing, you're just getting old. You're just taking up time and space. That's all you're doing. It's grow or die. That's for every organization. That's for every individual. It's every person. You got to be willing to grow. You got to be willing to push forward. You got to be able to move forward. You got to be able to grow, become more, do more, be more, think at a higher level, grow. So this is what the VisionQuest process is all about. This is how I came up with it. This is what it does. This is what it helps people do. And this is the time of year where if you're planning for a successful 2024, you're going to want to know about this. Again, I put all the free documents and everything in the chat already. And for those of you who are watching this on LinkedIn, I'm going to catch up with you and put everything in the chat. If you have anything that you want to share, your business or anything like that, feel free to do so in the chat. All right. Let us know what you're thinking, what's working for you, what's not working for you, anything that you want to try to improve, anything that you want to try to share, put it in the chat. You never know who's out there, who's listening, who's watching, who's paying attention and want to involve themselves with your success. It's not all about me. Sometimes I get around to answer these questions, sometimes I don't. But I guarantee you, the more you throw your questions out there in the universe, you're going to bump into somebody eventually who's going to answer your question. And you're going to grow, which is all I pray and hope for you. Is that's exactly what you do. Okay, so I'm going to point to some questions that people have asked me over the years and even asked me recently about the VisionQuest 90 process. People ask me all the time, okay, well, how much time does it take? Well, the reason why I had 90 up there when I trademarked it was because originally I was thinking it was going to take 90 days to make whatever change that you have to make in your life and in your business to learn this system. Use this system to make one significant change you got to make. And then it would only take 90 days for you to lock that habit in and for you to make that change that you need to make. So that change is now permanent. It's now part of you. It's what you do. And anytime you want to change anything else, you just go right back to the system and you develop it all over again. You use all the tools that we give you to come up with a new change that you have to make. And then you make that change too, no matter what your orientation is or whatever that is. Now, I've realized over the years that it takes a little bit more than 90 days. Right? For most people, I mean, there's people who go getters and they do it in 30 days. But most people, it's going to take them at least 120 days. So the 90 just came from, that was my original thought process. And the original process it really takes about 4 months. So it's 120 days for you to lock in the changes that you need to lock in to elevate yourself to that next level of focus, energy, and productivity. Right. So that's thing one. It takes 4 months. That's all. Now, how much does it cost? Well, that also depends. I'm giving it to you for free right now. Right. So if you can take it and run with it, go for it. Right. You can read it, understand it, ask a couple quick questions and be on your way, go for it. But most people unfortunately won't do that. They won't do it because they not, for whatever reason, fear, doubt, blame, shame, whatever reason, they're too busy. Life is too, they've got too much going on. They're unfocused. They don't have a lack. They have a lack of. They get a little bit lethargic. Whatever the reason is that you can't grasp this material and run with it by yourself. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do it by yourself. I will promise you this. If you're listening to the sound of my voice today, right now, you can gain access to the whole entire VisionQuest 90 system, the executive bonus plan, which includes a ton of hours personal working with me. Usually on the phone, but sometimes I'll do some face-to-face stuff, and I'll do some video chats or whatever. It depends on what the person is and what the person needs. But we'll do it for half price. Now, that's a lot of significant savings, right? Because in terms of the hours that we want to put in, you're usually going to pay a good coach about maybe anywhere from $450 to $600 an hour. I mean, a good executive coach. It's going to cost you a lot of money. That price, you can get it down to somewhere around about $125 an hour, depending on what the nature of the situation is for you. So we try to customize plans that work for people, but today we're doing half price. So if you are connected and you really want to learn more, be more, do more, come out with your coaching, come out with your practice, whatever practice you have, in a bigger way in 2024, and you want to work with me, I'm going to give you everything you need to do it at half price. But you got to catch me before I fill up. Right now, I've got 10 people, 10 clients I'm working with. I can only have capacity for 10 more before I shut that down. So you can get that for half price right now, which is a great deal. When it comes to doing this, it's really affordable for anybody who is actually successful, right? If you're struggling, nothing's affordable for you, right? But if you're successful as an individual, this you can afford. It's just, you're just figuring out what you have to give up to make it available for you. Now, what you probably can't do is put the time, effort, and energy into it, because my clients, I got to tell you, we work hard, and so there's a requirement right there. If I care more about your success than you do, let's not play. Because I don't like to lose. In fact, I have a 100% winning track record for the last 20 years I've been in business. I have not one single client of mine has decreased, have not grown. By the way, everybody grows. So the whole goal is to get the growth that you need to have, that you want to have in your life and in your business in 90 days or less. And so if my systems fail, then you fail, I fail. I don't do that. There's no failure. not in the professional world. I don't have room for that. So if you're not a person who's a go-getter, who's ready to go, ready to do things that need to be done, and I'm only going to ask you to spend 15 minutes to half an hour a day working on yourself, and then check out with me every week for a little bit of time to get your next assignment. Because I have a plan. I already know where it needs to go, but it depends on where we start. And it depends on your orientation and all that kind of good stuff. We'll get there. So it's super important that, I built this to be quick, low cost, and then I'm out of your hair, right? So you don't have to worry about having a coach that's hanging on to you for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all up in your business. That's not gonna be me. That's not gonna be me. I'm gonna get you for a couple of months, and then I'm gonna help you, retool your thinking, your planning processes, your strategies, your techniques, and things that you do to get things done. And if you're a team person, you're gonna want that executive plan, right? But if you're not, if you're a solo player, that's all you're doing, and you're working by yourself, for yourself, with yourself, then you can cut that price by half even again, because it's not gonna be as much work for me to have to do to get you up to speed, and I cut the hours and time that I'm spending with you to make that happen. So I hope I answered your questions, and I hope you understand. I hope you have a wonderful planning season. I don't even know what I'm talking about for the next couple of weeks, because I'm so excited about Kwanzaa and some other things that have just gone on. I haven't really sat down and thought about it. Usually, I wait until the beginning of the year to really get into relationship development, relationship building stuff. And so I don't know where I'm going to start the beginning of this year in terms of what happens next. We should probably talk about execution. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. Well, I'll think about it. If you guys have any tips or any ideas, things that you want to learn, things that you want to shoot past me, go ahead and let me know. Put it in the chat, or contact me personally. I mean, I was trying to get my personal information up here. So if you want to call me, if you want to talk to me, shoot me up, hit me a text message. That's my information coming right across. Look for me I'm the 9-step guru, right? I love that hashtag. I've been using that hashtag for almost 20 years now. When he first invented hashtags, I said, what's mine going to be? It's the 9-step guru, because I invented a program for networking and for relationship building, professional relationship building, called the 9 Steps to Professional Relationship Building, which I will make available to you if you ask me for it. So if you call me, text me, email me, or whatever, hit me up on instant messages on LinkedIn, and I will take care of it. I'll make sure that you get what you need to have. Guys, it's wonderful. I love talking with you. I love working with you. I'm going to post, again, the links to your bonus gifts, just in case you didn't get them again here in the chat section. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, I'm going to post that a little later on after the session closes. So don't be mad. You just come back to your LinkedIn page and you'll see that stuff. I know you can only see it on YouTube and Facebook right now. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is, again, if you haven't already and you want to put your information about your company, your business, whatever offers you have or anything that's going on in the chat, feel free to do so. Again, this is a business-friendly organization. We try to make sure that we take care of as many people as we can. Okay, it's about 46 minutes in. I've had a wonderful time. God bless you. I'm out of here. It's Coach Powell signing off. Had a great program, great time. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful new year. Thank you so much for all your time and all your attention. And I'll see you later. Bye.